Okay, so I currently, if you were to ask me professionally, I am currently a vice president at a startup called Ninja Cart here in Bangalore, and I grew up in a completely army background like Barkha, because our parents have been friends their entire lives, and did my engineering, have done my MBA from IIM Kozhikode, and have been working in the corporate sector since then. And I love running marathons. I have run marathons across 5 continents and maybe around 15 of them in total. And that's what keeps me charged all this while. I hope that's a good enough introduction. I
don't know that's a great introduction, and I'm really glad that you brought up the marathons too, because I think one of the things that I want to talk about today is the danger of a single story, right? So when somebody is different from us, like if they're different from us in terms of belonging to the LGBT population, then people sometimes see them as only gay or only lesbian or only bisexual, as if that is their only aspect of their identity that's important. So I'm really glad, because I want people to get to know you as a person and not just by your sexual identity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I were to put it in quote unquote, I'm as normal as any other human being on earth, and I have the same habits, maybe likes and dislikes, more personalized, but yes.
Although I don't think you'll ever convince me to run a marathon, but yeah, so I guess in that way we'll be different. But yes, otherwise we're more similar than different for sure. So I just wanted to first ask you, Kunal, that when did you first know what your sexual identity was, or how was this journey for you? Because today we're also trying to explain 2 things, the coming out process and how this journey is for people from the LGBT community. So when did you know what you identified as? And I don't want to label it, so I want you to label it however you want. Can you share that with our audience?
Sure. So, see, but honestly, if you ask me, and if I look at hindsight, I think as a kid I knew. It's just that probably at that point of time, there was not a name or a label, as you might say, that what people call it as a label that gets attached to it. I didn't know about it. I mean, in hindsight, I knew that I would develop affections for guys, maybe more than girls at that point of time. When did I identify or consider and came out as gay? That would probably be in the last 3 years. It's been a journey in the last 3 to 4 years that I've gone on, and I have identified myself, and I've actually come out to my family, my friends, my colleagues, and it's been a journey. But yes, I mean, you're born this way, and probably at that point of time, one didn't have enough knowledge, or people didn't talk about it, or maybe in some terms it might have been derogatory that starts playing in your mind when you're a kid, and probably you just shy away from asking yourself that question at that point of time, I guess. Probably it's like I said, it's in hindsight maybe. And having said that, was it easy coming out as an adult? No, it did take a toll on me. I mean, I had my own apprehensions. I had my entire journey that I went on, but I'm comfortable right now. I have absolutely no regrets.
I'm so proud of you, like personally and professionally. So even like coming out to me, you know that I lived with a gay guy in the US for 2 years. I've had gay friends all my life. But even then, like you came out to me only last year. So how was that? Like coming out to me or close friends or people who knew you like literally all your life, family?
See, I think it becomes difficult because I don't know, for some reason, there's a sort of a pressure in the society that you have to come out and start explaining that you are not heterosexual. And I think that's the biggest thing that starts playing on your mind, and to a lot of people it might just clamp them down, and probably that's the reason why people may not come out, or come out late, rather than them being comfortable so early in life. So for me, I think it was more about that, being scared, there being a sense of shame, people not talking about it, or just the fact that, oh, if I do come out about it, and people have probably identified me as heterosexual for all these years, how would they react, and what is their point of view about being gay? Or I mean, not being heterosexual. Let me put it that way. So all those things start playing on your mind, and I think that makes it much more tougher. Tougher that a heterosexual doesn't have to go out and tell the world that he or she is heterosexual.
Yeah.
Why is that pressure on the reverse side? I mean, but yes, that's ultimately the reality. But fine, one has to at least live with it now. Probably in the coming years, it'll become much better.
And I hope it does, because that's you're right, that's awful. I've never had to explain my heterosexuality to anybody, right? Like, nobody cares who I sleep with, and then suddenly we start caring about who other people sleep with. So there is definitely an issue around that. And also, like, I was telling you earlier when we were doing our little call, our demo call to see if we can see each other on Instagram, that even for like one of my clients, my 14-year-old client who identifies it as bisexual currently, everybody's telling her it's a phase, right? They keep telling her it's a phase and she'll get past that phase. So even though she is coming out, it is not really validated. It's almost like, oh, it might change later. This is a phase. Don't talk about it. And that's what I was asking the family, that with your son or your grandsons, would you ask them, oh, right now you have a girlfriend, but don't worry, later you might come out as gay, right? We are not putting this reverse pressure on kids. And that makes it very, very hard, especially for kids when they're already confused and still trying to figure it out. Then they finally verbalize it and we invalidate it. So I know that we went to the same boarding school. Would you say that this boarding school had an atmosphere where you could have come out, like, in all honesty?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if you ask me whether schools still have that atmosphere or the environment for one to be able to ask questions about their sexuality and be able to get an answer, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there even in the corporate world, for that matter. I think that's what makes this whole process so difficult. That it's not talked about that much, and very little is talked about it. And you don't have sources, or you don't have enough people who can talk to you about it and make you feel comfortable about it. Probably that's what makes it a lot more painful.
You felt lonely through the process?
So if you ask me, when I was young, probably in school or in college, I did confess to a guy. But like you said, so the response that I got at that time was that, no, I think it's a passing phase, or it's just a little more affection than probably you would find for other guys. And then you just kind of imbibe saying that probably it is a phase. And somewhere I think it starts building on you. So, and that's why I said, so probably in the last 3-4 years is when I actually had that journey where I really felt like I was living two lives, and I did not want it anymore. I did not want that discomfort on me. And that's where I just said that enough is enough. And I can live with the regret that, oh, why didn't I live this life for the last 39 years? Or do I just say that, fine, this is who I am, and let me live the rest of my life as peacefully as possible and live at peace and
and
live who I am.
And it is so important to live an authentic life, right? Like, to not live in a way which is different from who we truly are, because actually that in itself, and we spoke about this on Monday, creates a lot of mental health issues. And I'm wondering how this affected you psychologically.
I mean, Barkha, to be very honest, and we spoke about it. I did go through a bad time. I did seek out professional help to be able to understand who I was. And personally, I was telling you, so fortunately for me, when I really started having, when I had a couple of these episodes which made me question it much more, I wanted to seek the answers myself. And fortunately for me, I got in touch with a friend of mine who had come out much more earlier, and I was going on a trip to Paris, and I convinced him, saying that, can you join me? And he was planning a holiday himself, and we went there. And trust me, I mean, those 2 weeks when he made me go out, explore the culture, we went to different bars, met people from the community. I knew it was right, and I knew I had the answer then, and it was just also clear that fine, I could not speak to anybody about it, but the whole experience, I mean, you just know it in your heart that this is what makes you most comfortable, and you need to live your life the way you want to.
So you almost felt like these are my people. I know these are my people. This is my community.
Yeah, I mean, more than saying that, okay, I have these bros around me, maybe not in that kind of thing, but I mean, when you find people like yourself and so many in numbers and enjoying life and living life the way they want to, it just gives you that additional confidence and just tells you that it's absolutely fine. I mean, you just feel so happy about yourself, and probably that trip made my life and just gave me that courage to just talk about it. And I don't think I've stopped ever since then.
And that's your experience in Paris. But what's your experience in India, like even today?
If you ask me personally, like I said, it's taken me so many years to figure this out, and it's purely because of the fact that probably during your childhood, or when we were in boarding school, and that's when you were in your teenage years, and you start thinking or discovering or maybe questioning about these selves, is when you would not have anybody at that point of time to speak to about it, right? I mean, and the worst that happens is that kids at that age, there's this whole thing about getting very whatever normal about things of dating, of who's maturing much faster and stuff like that. So it just gets dissolved in that, and the whole point about the phase that we were talking about earlier. So even when I came out, it wasn't easy. I mean, literally, I remember this friend of mine, he was the first one I came out to, and I know it would have taken multiple meetings, and there would be times when I remember I would have started saying something but then would stop myself, and this despite being the fact that he came out as gay, and everybody knew about it. I mean, for me to be able to tell him about what I was feeling, I mean, it brings a lump to the throat at right now, even just thinking about it. But I think it's not talked about enough, and I think that's what the endeavor is. I mean, if you ask me about it right now, when I joined the current organization, I made it very clear about what my sexuality is, and if there's something that bother me, I just go up to them and tell them that no, this is not right, and something needs to be done about it.
And that's what that's what I'm concerned about, right? You are obviously like a vice president. That's a really high up post, so you can talk about it and say that, you know, if you have a problem, then whatever, lump it, I'm going to find another job. I'm wondering what happens to people who are junior, who you know, are just joining, or fresh recruits. How do you think they experience, like, I don't want to answer that for you. You tell me, what do you think they experience when they're junior and join like a company?
But see, to be very frank, because it's not been talked about during your childhood or during your schooling or college years, you by default would not want to talk about it when you're going into the corporate world, because the corporates themselves don't talk about it. They would just shove it, saying that no, this is your personal life, we don't want to talk about it. But having said that, out of 24 hours, if you remove the 7 hours of sleeping, you have 17 hours, of which you'll be spending 10 to 12 hours at your workplace. Now, the choice is whether from the corporate side and from yourself as well, whether you want to live those 10 to 12 hours as who you are, or just keep quiet about it, and that's the majority of your life, right? And it's definitely not right. Very few corporates in India still talk about it. Most of them are multinationals, because they have a global diktat to uh, to have a policy, to have a committee around the LGBT community. Frankly, the 4 companies that I have worked for, they have never had it. So the minute if that entity does not exist within the organization, nobody's going to talk about it, right? I mean, just to give you a very small example, in the current organization that I'm working in, we were developing the POSH policy, right? And when it came to me, and I said that, okay, I'm going to be a part of it. When it came to me, all the examples were of heterosexual harassment. And I was like, what about the LGBT? And I ensured, because for me, it was that, no, I need to make people comfortable about it. I had a couple of examples of same-sex harassment put into the entire training module. Because I have gone through it, and I know what youngsters would know about it, right? It's just not talked about it enough in the Indian corporate sector.
Indian corporate sector, or like you said, in Indian any sector, in our homes, in our schools, right? So I remember when I was working with Mercedes-Benz in 2009, I said that I want to do Pride Month for school. And even though my director was extremely supportive, but parents were like, why? Why when it's like still not legal in India? And I was like, because just because it's not legal doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? And so the thing is, there's a culture of silencing. Don't talk about it in school. Don't talk about it in college. Don't talk about it when we push you to get married. Don't talk about it when you join a company. So when the hell do you talk about it? That's my question. Like, when is a good time to talk about your sexual orientation?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just talk about it to your 4 close friends to whom you have come out on the weekend, and the rest of the 5 days or 6 days that you're working, you just need to be somebody else. And that's what pains me quite a bit. And unfortunately, that's the reality. And I think the sooner we talk about it and make people comfortable about it. And for me, I think school is the right time to start, is because that's the time when you are growing up and identifying. There's a lot of you experiencing a lot about yourself, about your likes and dislikes, and this is by far one of the most important things that you need to understand at that stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like you were mentioning that, first you also weren't sure, there was confusion, and then you kind of compare yourself. And like you said, like the school we went to, we didn't really have any comparisons to make. We didn't have like other gay people to look up to, or role models, or a school counselor for that matter, where we could discuss any of this. So there's no, you can't say, oh, maybe I'm like them and not like them. There is no one to compare that with. So, what gave you the confidence to, I know this friend did that you confided in, but besides that, what gave you the confidence to start confiding in more and more people?
I mean, Barkha, like I said, so I think probably when I confided to this friend of mine and we went on this trip, and that itself was the experience of a lifetime for me. It was just about, like I said earlier, that either I decide to start living a dual life, saying that, okay, these are the set of friends whom I'm not going to come out to, or my family I'm not going to come out to, but these are the very close friends of mine whom I'm going to come out to and be happy about it, because they are the people whom I speak to the most. It gets traumatic, and I've lived that for a good 6-8 months, where only 3 people knew about it who were friends. My family didn't know about it, and a lot of my other friends didn't know about it. So it's like, I mean, sorry, the lights went out. I mean, it just gets a little traumatic, because then you start being a lot more shelled up, saying that, what have I spoken to this set of people? What have I spoken to the other set of people, and my family? A simple thing, being on social media. I remember when I went with this friend of mine, and I put up a pic which would have alluded, I didn't realize it, which would have alluded to me coming out. And I actually took it down, saying that, oh, I haven't told it to everybody. Why should I put it online? If people ask me questions, what will I tell them? And it's that scare that keeps inhibiting you from talking to a lot of people. So it's just I mean, for me, it was, after that trip, it was like, fine, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it my way, where I'm going to tell people face to face. So it was not that I'm going to be putting it on social media saying that, oh, I've come out. I wanted it to be a journey, saying that, okay, even if it takes me a year, that I have to reach out to my family, to my friends, to my colleagues, but I'm going to do it face to face. I'm going to look them in the eye and tell them that this is the reality. Because for me, that would have, at that point of time, I said that, okay, that's what's going to give me the most comfort, and not just a generic post or something out which will be there for everybody to see, because I wanted them to see the comfort in my own eyes, saying that I'm comfortable, and this is who I am, and I want you to accept it the way.
And like we tell clients, right? It's not your shame to carry. This is not your shame to
Absolutely.
carry. This means we are not ready to accept as a society. That's our shame to carry. It's not your shame to carry.
Absolutely, Barkha. I mean, couldn't have put it in better words. It's not a shame to carry. I mean, the kind of confidence it gives you when you look at somebody in the eye and you say that, okay, this is who I am. Trust me, there'll be some whom you know are uncomfortable about that as well. And so be it. I mean, if they have to live in their discomfort, that's their problem.
And that's their discomfort to carry, right? I think living in a collectivist culture, we feel like we have to be responsible for each other's feelings. But sometimes in this sense of we have to be responsible for other people's feelings, we stop living the way we want to. Because I have to answer to that auntie and that uncle and that people who are actually never going to be around also, some of them, when we, like they're not living our lives for us. But there is this immense social pressure that does not let us come out or about so many things, right? Like this is one big one because it's so central to your identity, like you're saying.
Absolutely, but I mean, fortunately for me, I'm blessed with parents who took it in their stride and welcomed me with open arms, even when I was coming out to them so late in life. But the inhibition that was there, the foremost thing was the fact that, okay, even if they are comfortable and I'm going to be open about it, they have to go and explain it to their friends and to their to our relatives and answer 10 questions. Would they be comfortable with it or not? And probably those are the things that start holding you back, saying that no, I think it's going to get too complicated for my parents to either understand or to be comfortable with, right? And I think sometimes I know a lot of people who still have come out to their friends and not come out to their parents,
Exactly.
saying the same thing, that they won't understand or no, it'll get very complicated, it'll be too stressful, they're old. I mean, I think for me, if you are happy, your parents would be happy, come what may. I mean, yes, it would be a journey. It wouldn't be easy, but having said that, it's your life. You're going to live only once. You might as well live life the way you want it to. And trust me, the more happier you want to be, the people around you would be happy about it.
If you're comfortable sharing, because I know that's one of the hardest part, right? Coming out to family, because they've always seen you a certain way and are assuming things about you. What was your parents' first response? I've not even asked you this personally, but if you're comfortable sharing, what was their first response?
No, okay. So to be honest, I mean, for me, it was first of all very uncomfortable. It's not like it's very comfortable. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely in the Indian society, for even kids to talk about sex with their parents. Yeah. But yeah, so I told them about. I made them sit down and just told them that, okay, there's something very important that I have to tell you, and I told them about the process. And yes, I mean, to be honest, it is. It obviously stuns you for a minute, for a moment, or maybe a few seconds. Those seconds might last for long because you're waiting for them to react. But so they were able to say that. I mean, they said, "Are you sure this is who you are?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, I mean, that's probably what gave them comfort, saying that, okay, fine. I mean, if this is who you are, we are comfortable with it. But yes, it's not that the first time you want to tell them I mean, for anybody, whether it's a parent or it's a sibling or anybody, then it's just somebody just want to burst in a smile and say that, fine. Obviously, it hits you because there are not enough people who have been talking about it or who have come out or are publicly open about it. But I love it because they accepted me with open arms. And I remember I was in Bombay, working in Bombay, and I told them the day before I was going to go back to Bombay. I went back to Bombay, and the next day in my email, I see in my inbox, I see a very long email where it's. I mean, because obviously it would have taken them, and I understand it would have taken them a night to probably digest the fact as well. Although they never made me feel uncomfortable at all. Probably they would have gathered their thoughts, and then we spoke on the phone, and then they sent me such a touching mail telling me to be happy. I mean, they have absolutely no issues me being who I am, and I've never looked back since then. It's just been great. But yeah, I'm sure it's tough on everybody. I mean, not
But
just on me.
that's why it's brave, right? Because if it was an easy thing to tell to people, it would not be called coming out, right? It's coming out because it takes bravery. And I think that's what you're displaying, is a lot of bravery, that I need to live my truth, whether anybody accepts it or not. And yet, obviously, I'm thrilled that everybody that I know, at least, in fact, even all the messages we are getting, they're all like, we're proud of you, we love you regardless. And I think that's really, really important to remember, that we do love you regardless. And I don't say this as a friend. Like, I think I would, that's the message also I want parents to get, that when your children are coming out to you, they're not telling you who they have sex with. They're telling you who are the people in the world that they love, who are the people they fall in love with. And why would you not want to be a part of your kids' journey of love, right? Because this LGBT is as much about love as it's about sex. And I think that's the distinction we need to make, that we're not only talking about sex, we're talking about all kinds of intimacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I obviously want the audience to be familiar with the how this journey works. So I'll tell you psychologically what we study, how it works, and then you tell me if how much you relate to it, right?
Sure.
So what we see, Jenny, and this is of course a lot of research that's gone into it, right? How basically a person integrates their sexual orientation into themselves, because it's not an easy thing to accept even for the person. So there is a lot of, sometimes in countries like India especially, which is patriarchal, where we use gay as a bad word, there's internalized homophobia. That means we can hate ourselves for identifying as gay, right? So
Absolutely.
So in the beginning, there's a lot of confusion. Then you compare yourself and see, like, how are you different or similar to people? And that's the time that you can feel very, very alienated. And then it goes to this sense of tolerance. Okay, main aisa hi hu, you know, I'm going to keep it, but it's still not something you start sharing. Then comes acceptance that, okay, I am like this and I also want to be part of the culture. And only after confusion, comparison, tolerance, acceptance does come pride, right? Why do you think pride is so important? Because a lot of people say, why do they have to be proud of it? We are not proud to be hetero. We're not proud to be hetero because it's the most common. So there is not something that, you know, we are not discriminated against. So we don't have to show pride for it either. But anyway, why do you think gay pride, or pride in general around being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, asexual, or anything, any identity is so important? Why the word pride?
But to be very honest, because of the stigma that somehow is attached to this whole experience, or this part of you. I mean, it's not that it's Pride Month or Pride Week, and okay, this is the time when you're going to only talk about it, and not the rest of the year. It is just to make it much more comfortable for everybody else around you, that let's have a dedicated period of time. And for me, I think pride means that there are people who know now, but there are people who may not know about me. I mean, I just want them to know about the fact that I'm proud of who I am, and I think that's what this whole celebration of pride means, and that's what gives you that sense of belongingness. That's what gives you that sense of confidence, and I think that's when you reach that stage. And trust me, it is pure happiness when you reach that and you live that life.
Did you identify with the stages as I mentioned them?
Absolutely. I mean, when we talked about it, I think the biggest confusion is when you're growing up as a kid in school, right? And I think we have all gone through it. I mean, I can talk more about the guys maybe, where it would be derogatory. I mean, there are words that I probably don't even want to use on this forum, but I mean, it's more like an abuse rather than about being normal. And the other fact that you don't know anybody else who's come out so early in their life. I mean, at least during my growing up years, I never knew anybody who had come out probably till I reached the age of 22 or 23. So imagine that you would be confused about it till you reach that stage, unless and until there are enough avenues for you to talk about. So that confusion always will remain. It's just that how fast do you move on to the next phase, right? From confusion, and probably once that you start maybe confiding about it initially, and looking at others around you who identify in the same way, is when you start gathering a bit of courage, saying that there's nothing wrong with me. And during that journey is when you start meeting people from the community. And for me, I think it was that good 2 weeks that I spent. Unfortunately, I spent outside of India. I wish it had happened in India, but for me, that was the sense of belongingness that I had. In fact, last year I in fact was in New York, and I postponed my entire trip coming back to India because it was Pride Month and it was the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. And I said that even if I have to lose a lakh of rupees, I don't care. I'm going to reschedule my flight because I need to see that. And that the way it was celebrated in that city was phenomenal. I thought that city probably would have, I mean, the way it was being celebrated, I thought heterosexuals were a minority, and it just made you comfortable. I mean, you went for a drink, you went to eat, and that's when you start identifying and start getting that sense of pride to say that, because you just feel comfortable. I mean, you just feel, you breathe.
Yeah, you breathe
you
is
finally feel your breathing.
And it's important to breathe, right? We know that it's important to breathe.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the air probably wouldn't have felt fresher than probably that Paris trip and last year when I attended Pride Month in New York.
Yeah. You know, you bring up such an important point, because what you're saying really is we go through Pride and then we believe that finally, for people who become comfortable with their gay identity and then live their lives as is, there's synthesis, right? So being gay becomes only one aspect of your life and not the most important. So it becomes it integrates with the rest of your identity, right? Because otherwise it's almost like this sore thumb, right? Always standing out as if it's something different. And then once it integrates and you start living a life for which in India, like, of course, gay marriage has to become a reality as well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Also, because why should heterosexual people be miserable alone, right? Like, let everybody be miserable. So that's important too. But like, that's the thing, that pride is really important so that we get comfortable with. And then synthesis is really important, where, you know, we stop describing people as my one gay friend, right? I don't think ever in my life I've described you as my gay friend, and I don't want to in the future either, because I know you for many different aspects of your life than just this one aspect. And I think that becomes important, because it's the same thing as my Hindu friend or Muslim friend or gay friend. You know, we take one part of somebody's identity and use it as a descriptor, and that in itself needs to stop at some point. But we're a long way off from that, because we are barely talking about it, which is why it's really brave for you to be on Instagram, because I know like a lot of our school friends will be on Instagram right now. A lot of them probably don't know that you identify as gay today. And though that itself, like, you know, I thought so much, because I even talked to you, right? If you're trolled, how will we handle it? What will we do if people troll you? But let's look at some of the messages, because there's literally been no trolling and just a lot of love. So let me read out to some read out some of the messages that people have left for you. Your mom has said you're the best son, irrespective of what people think. Most loving son anyone would want. We are proud of you. My mom has said very proud of you, Kunal. Admire you even more. My sister is saying love you, Kunal. My father is saying Kunal, so proud of you, son. And I don't think my parents even knew, right? Like, they're probably realizing now your journey, because my parents have not known about your sexual identity.
Yes.
Aman Randhava is saying couldn't be proud of everything you are saying, Kunal. Nikhat is saying more power to you, Kunal, just dropping by to say hi. Nina Pari, that's your aunt, is saying you just said it in that one sentence. Why is there an expectation to come out? Just be you. Proud of you. Yamini saying always been proud of you. I don't know how to pronounce this, but great Kunal, stay strong always. Nobody's answerable to anyone. People who love you will love you regardless, which is fact. And then your sheer genuineness and honesty is something everyone close to you would attest to. Important. And then Aman Randhawa, that was the cutest actually. He said, when I grow up, I want to be as brave as you are. And that is probably the sweetest thing someone can say. And then Kabir, who's obviously from our school again, who probably got to know right now that you identify as gay. He's also saying, we're proud of you, man. Good man, Kunal, big dog. That's his way of complimenting you. So ignore that. And yeah, and it's really, really important that even after this conversation, for whoever is watching and whoever from our school knows, yes, Kunal is gay, but Kunal is also all the other things that he is, and all that needs to be identified. Thank you for doing this, really, because we knew how many people who we know would probably join in, people who didn't know about your sexual identity. So it's absolutely the bravest thing someone can do. I don't know if you can take that in, because that's a lot of compliments. But maybe when you sleep tonight, you can integrate all this. Is there anything you want to say to kids out there who might be identifying as gay, bi, lesbian, asexual for that matter? Like, how did you deal with the loneliness? What do you think they can do? Because you really you can be a role model, right? And what would you want to tell them?
See, I mean, to any kid out there, I would definitely, I mean, even if it's not, I think the first person they should reach out to and ask this question and discuss this would probably be their parents first. Yeah, because ultimately they are the most closest to you and would always want your happiness first. Having said that, there would be some who would accept it, and like some examples that you were giving where parents themselves might say it's a passing phase, but at least you have discussed about it, right? Luckily for us, there are so many platforms in the internet age where one can read about it, discuss about it, reach out to a community and talk about it so that you don't feel alienated, right? So I'm saying the worst case scenario where probably your close ones might react adversely. There's this whole community out there which just can be reached out at a click of a button digitally. Just reach out. I mean, we are there to make you comfortable and to let you know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And it's normal. It's just normal to be who you are. I mean, it's crazy and so easy to network right now online. Make yourself comfortable. It could be that the results might turn negative, but at least you are going to ask the question and clear those doubts in your mind. And there's nothing wrong, because the worst is if you're going to live your life and these years with that doubt in mind festering inside somewhere at the back of your mind. That's the worst thing that you would do to yourself, because it changes your personality. I have seen my personality change the more when I started questioning myself. I became reserved. I started snapping back at people, and I did not like that phase of mine, to be very honest. And just, I mean, however young you might be, just reach out and have your questions answered, either through your loved ones or the communities online, and be normal, because the faster you can remove these questions or doubt or that sense of guilt from your mind, the more peaceful you'll be and the more happier you would be in life. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Kunal. That means a lot. And yeah, you're right. Like some children feel very comfortable talking to their parents, but sadly, like in India, this is also another reality that a lot of people don't have that in the family. But like you're saying, they have a community out there We, as an organization, are LGBT friendly. Not only do we work for gay, lesbian populations as individuals, we are happy to do couples therapy. We will provide all the same therapies that we provide for heterosexual people, even for the LGBT community. So if anybody from the LGBT community wants to reach out, our number is 800-700-6227. Like you said, no one has to go through this alone. There are some great organizations in India doing some great work around this. So, but like basically what we can do as a community is make it easier for people to come out. So if I talk about it in a way that's respectful and sensible, then people are more likely to come out to me than if I'm making flippant jokes or using derogatory language, right? Because then they're already thinking this is how. And I have a lot of students when I go into schools where they say, oh, no, I respect LGBT people, but then they're still calling their friends gay or making fun of them, hence making it difficult for a person from the LGBT population to come out. So there are a lot of compliments and I hope you get to read them. Thank you so much for everybody who joined, and thanks, Kunal. It's exceptionally brave of you, and lots of love and lots of happiness always.
Thanks, Barkha, and continue this great work that you're doing, and I really appreciate it. Probably that's why I think the last 1 year we have suddenly become much more closer than probably we were before that, because I just really appreciate the work that you are doing for the community, and I would always be there to help you as much as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap. On Friday we're going to talk about being an ally. So what can we do to be allies, and how can we stop bullying around LGBT? So join Zui and me on Friday, which will be our last day of talking about LGBT stuff, but we will keep talking about it through the year, like I promised you, Kunal. It's not going to be only a week or a month. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Barkha. Thanks for having me
Bye.
on. Bye.